Welcome to the Single Dad Project podcast. This month, we're doing interviews with single moms. Unfortunately, the single mom that I had scheduled for today, her dad is in the hospital. So we had to go out and get a replacement. And I got my awesome friend Tareai here with us today. She is a good friend, but we started out as a personal trainer client relationship, and from that turned into a friendship. So she came in today for us to do our interview. And Tareai is not a single mom, not a mom yet, but grew up with a single mom. And so with that, Tareai, I also want to mention, and I'll have you know, I was looking for your book today so I could be like, here's the book that she wrote, because Tareai's a published author. Anyway, so with that little introduction, Tareai, one of the things we want to do is kind of go into like little bit of history and see how you came to be raised by single moms. So I'll let you take it from here.
Hi guys, my name is Tareai Dewana, and I was my single mom actually is my adoptive mom, and she has had me since I was 18 months old, off and on since I was 18 months old. My biological parents were going through whatever they were going through in life. We all got those stories, and they decided that they didn't want me. So my adopted mom is actually my biological cousin. So it's still blood is related, relations there. But her and her husband decided to adopt me, and she became a single mom right before my 11th birthday because he had passed away literally a month before my birthday. So that's how she became a single mom. But she had already 4 biological children that were grown and decided to take me in and give me a chance. So that's how that came about.
And just like with our interview last week with Heidi, I knew little details, but I didn't know like everything. So I'm like, this is a learning experience for me today as well. So do you have contact with with your biological parents to this day, or none at all?
So this is gonna be mean, but I usually call them egg donor, sperm donor. But I don't have any contact with the bio mom. I'll be professional. I don't I chose not to. It's not that I'm holding a grudge against her or anything. I'm healed from that process. It's just that I gave her a chance to have a relationship with me, and she betrayed me again. So as an adult, so I just chose not to interact with her at all. And she texts every single day, and I don't read, I don't respond. So and she's been doing that for the last 5 years. So I am her oldest out of 8 children.
Wow, that I didn't know.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm her oldest out of 8, and I'm his oldest out of 2. So he had 2 children. He chose to raise his girlfriend 2 children than to have anything to do with me growing up. And the story I was told, he hasn't said anything, but I believe that because of his actions. I was told by the bio mom that he didn't want me because I was a girl. That's what I was told. And for a while I didn't believe it, but when 10 years later, he had a son. And that his son's mother also had another son, and he chose to be a part of their life and raise them. So that's why I believe. That's the only thing I believe of what the bio mom said. Other than that, I think she's just here. But now that I'm grown, then got a master's degree, and have my own place and just doing great, overall, I'm doing great. He tries to reach out and say, hi, daughter, and stuff like that. I speak. That's it.
Mm. Well, I could say he missed out because you turned out to be a fun, funny, awesome person to hang out with. So he missed out. We'll go into like the segments that I talk about in the show, and the first segment is on the spiritual. Being raised as an adopted child at a young age, like, and even going into your teenage years and into adulthood, um what were the things that were instilled in you on the spiritual side, that you think helped benefit you in life and things like that, especially going through like the tragedy of having your biological parents not want you?
Not warming. So on the spiritual side, I was raised believing in God, believing that if I put him first, the sky was the limit. And I kind of I still believe that today. It's not like I'm going out and preaching the word, or telling, oh, you're a sinner, you're going straight to hell. No, I don't believe in it. I believe that there's good in all of us, and people have they make choices. So some are good choices, some are mistakes, and just some people are just awful. So you have to have that balance, and that's just how the world is. Unfortunately, it sucks for a lot of people, good people who are hurt by people's stupidity and cruelty. So, but the spiritual part, it helped me ground it when I was betrayed by friends, family member. It was like I had to get in that secret place and just talk to God. Right, used to write letters to him, and just to get myself back out of that depression, that whatever the situation had put me in. So it was like once I got into my little quiet place and talked to him, and just to give myself encouragement and stuff like that. Eventually he put people in my life that motivated me, encouraged me, and were for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did you get that from your stepmom? Does she like take you guys to church and things like that? Is that
Yeah,
something that?
we went to church, Sunday school, every Sunday. Like hell sweet, didn't matter what the weather was.
Mhm.
We were there. Bible class, Sunday school, church, choir, praise dance, all that.
And then you brought all that stuff towards the later part of your life as an adult, and that kind of stuck with you.
Yeah, at one point in my life, I called myself being mad at God. So I was like, me and God. So the term I used was, me and God is not on the same page.
Hmm.
So I decided to just do my own thing. All the things that I was taught not to do, I did them anyway. Because I was like, if Shiko over here is doing all this, and her life is just amazing, why can't mine go like that? So um trying to follow the in crowd, and yeah, it wasn't for me.
Mm.
I realized soon, it's like I will literally do the same thing someone else do. They got away with it. It looked like their life was great, but I do it and the whole building falls down. So yeah, that's how it was for me. So I couldn't do what other people do. My conscience was always in the way.
And did your adopted mom, did she play like a big part of that, as far as like, I know I asked if you guys went to church and stuff like that, but was that something that she brought? So I guess the question I'm asking is because one of the things that I try to do in the
Actually, I
show,
brought her to church.
you brought her to church.
Yes. My granny, well, I was going to church for my granny.
Hmm.
And then I asked my adopted mom did not go to church. And I told her to come go to church with me, come get on the Sunday. Oh yeah, we was part of the nurses board. So I got her to come to church, and I got her to be on the Sunday school nurses aid board. And she wound up enjoying it. And she wound up giving her life to God, and she been in the church ever since.
Mm.
And I had to be like maybe 10 or 11. I can't remember the age, but I was a kid.
Mhm.
And she says that to this day, especially when she had got mad that I left church and when I stopped going to church. She like, you the one brought me to church. Like,
Mhm.
how could you know better? Like, how could you do this? So that's what she would say.
Yeah, because I like part of the thing that I'm trying to focus on with these segments is like what are the things that are inside of these topics that can help single dads become better? And because this is our single mom month interviews, I wanted to see like, is that something that your mom, adopted mom, used to better her life by, you know, going to church or being spiritual or whatever?
Yeah.
Sounds like it helped out.
Yeah. He said he did. Yeah.
Uh on our next segment in the relationship, the like relational, um we already let us know what that relationship was like with your biological parents. What was the relationship like with your adopted mom, going through the years when she was in single mom mode? What was that like?
Um, Growing up, I felt like so this is a little tough. Like I think she did an amazing job. I'm To this day, I'm honestly grateful because she didn't have to take me in. I could have been a ward of the state. I don't know what my life would have been like if she hadn't have taken me in because no one else wanted me. So I'm extremely thankful and grateful for that. Growing up, I know because of things that happened to me as a child, she was very protective, and I'm thankful for that. She kept me with her. Like I went on her jobs with her and everything. If I wasn't in school, I was with her. Um, She didn't leave me around anybody. I couldn't spend a night with anybody. She made sure that what happened before wouldn't happen again. So um that's I mean, I can't do anything but like thank her and appreciate her and honor her on for those things now as I got older because I felt like I didn't go in the direction she wanted me to go.
Mhm.
She was just frustrated and I'm just saying I'm gonna say she's probably frustrated because it felt like we were always pulling teeth. Like I felt like I wasn't good enough. What I did wasn't good enough. And she felt like I didn't love her. And, so it's always like a tug of war. And I just feel like because her biological children played a part in that as well. So, and the dynamic because I always looked at them as siblings, but some of them then look at me as their, sibling.
Mhm.
So and it was the youngest one. So it was always, until I grew up, you just stopped trusting her. She, I would tell her stuff in confidence, just speaking my mind, just venting. And she would go back and tell mama what I said. So that started the negative tear between me and mom.
Mhm.
So, and then and she kept doing it and I was stupid enough to keep, confiding until I just realized I can't confide in her. So I stopped confiding in her. But by then it was just like, oh, now I'm the bad person for everybody. So
Mhm. And on the
but
relationship side with for your mom, is there anything that you remember as a kid that she would do to try to like, uh, other than being protective of you, is there anything that you felt like she was trying to do to like, make things better, make your life better? Like, so like, you know, if I brought somebody in who was like a blood relationship, but they weren't my child, I would try to, I think I would let them know like as much as I could, like you're still special, even though your real mom and dad didn't want you. Like, did she do anything like that for you? Other than just, like I
um,
said, trying to protect you from all the other crazy stuff?
we used to have our talk. Like I said, I went to work with her every Saturday morning. She would take me different places. Um, she would we would have little talks about life and stuff like that. Um, and during those times, yeah, I felt special. I felt like I felt loved and stuff. It was just um certain dynamics that would occur, like certain events when I felt like I was the outsider. And prime example, we had a church function. Um, I was maybe I was a teenager, but um in my eyes, I always felt like I was the youngest child because they said I was the child, and the others were adult because there's a huge age gap between us. Um, they're 19, 18, 17, and 14 years older than me.
Mm,
So that's huge age gap. So
yeah.
if I'm a teen, they're grown. And we were taking a family photo, and they pushed not they the one I told she pushed me out the photo,
Mm-hmm.
and like all of them standing there. No one said that's not right. Let her take let her get in the picture and take the picture. They took their final photo, and that right there was the first sign of me feeling like all the other feelings and stuff started coming through. Like I didn't belong, or stuff like that. When I experienced that at the church function, they literally be pushed out of a picture and not get to take a picture, family picture. So yeah.
And you said
Um,
this sibling was the youngest,
yeah,
but then technically you were younger than her.
exactly.
She was
She
probably
she was
jealous.
and at the time I loved her,
Mm-hmm.
like, so because I even when I stayed with my grandma, I stayed upstairs with grandma with her until grandma couldn't take care of me anymore. And then I came downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then my adopted mom took over, which was her biological mom. So it was just like, and I really loved her. And she just kept doing stuff. So now I just like hang by and call it a day. That's the relationship.
I get that. Um, on the intellectual segment that we talk about, one of the things that I bring in for like what are single dads doing to basically fill their minds with the good stuff, right? What do you do? Like books do you read? Mentors, anything like that? Is there anything on that level that your mom tried to instill in you, like any good books, anything like that?
Yeah, she had a little mini library, and she took me to get my library card. So I think I fell in love with the library because of taking me to the library and we getting books, and I'm checking them out and reading them and stuff like that. But I saw how um my brothers was raised. They are both great men. They're great fathers. And I see them go to bat for their children. And I was like, okay, I want a husband like them. They take care of their family. So they model after my adopted dad because he was the greatest. Like literally, he was the greatest. I remember like when my bio parents didn't want me, they said, I don't want to give her up, or they never showed, like the bio dad just never showed up.
Mm-hmm.
We waited crossly, and the caseworker would reach out to him and his family, trying to see if they wanted visitation rights and stuff. There was no contact,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. When I got old enough to go visit them myself, I was in high school. Yeah, I was in high school, and I was having issues with the other sister, not the youngest sister, the older sister. I was having issues with her. So I went over and I vented to the grandma and just telling her, they always tell me they want me and everything. Now I'm old enough, I can make the decision myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm explaining everything that's going on. I'm venting to her, and she was like, I want to, live with her. And she said, because I had a boyfriend, but she didn't tell me to my face now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I got a boyfriend. I'm fat, but wasn't doing anything. Just just had a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, we'll talk to your dad and we'll see about that. Let me tell you how, this is when she betrayed me. I didn't even I got in the house, like I left their house and they stayed far away from where I lived at. So I'm taking the bus. Ain't no Ubers back then.
Mm-hmm.
And no car. I'm literally taking bus and train to get from one side of town to the other side. And by the time I'm walking through the door, I'm talking to moms. She gave me this evil look. Like, I'm like, oh crap, what did I do? Like, I just walked through the door. She put the cordless phone, like, no cell phones even. She put the cordless phone on speaker so I can hear the grandma telling her everything I said.
Mm-hmm.
How everything I vented, everything I said. And then she was like, she thinks she finna come over here and lay up with her boyfriend. She got another thing coming. We ain't finna have all that. And my mom was like, That's like, because she didn't let her know that I was sitting there, I'm standing, and my heart just dropped. Like, there's like, really? So after that, I was just like, I ain't talk to her no more.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't talk to him no more. The bio father betrayed me after I was grown and in college. I gave up completely on him. I still had hope that he was going to come. Even though I was happy where I was at, I still wanted the bio parent to, I don't know. I didn't have hope for the mom at all. I guess when she shattered me at 7, when she said, I don't want to give her up for adoption, I was literally there in the courtroom when she said that.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much blocked her out. Like, she didn't exist to me anymore. But I always had hope that he will come and show up for me. No matter how many graduations we invited him to, he never showed up.
Mm-hmm.
He came like one Christmas, brought me a Game Boy, and that was it as a kid. So now I'm an adult and I jagged my rent money. I'm in college. I got my own apartment now. And I had my first boyfriend, like real boyfriend, relationship wise, moved him in. I moved him in. Big mistake. We get into it, and we had this big fight or whatnot, and I put him out. Right. So by me putting him out, right before that, I went out of town, went to Vegas. So I jagged my part of the rent money because I just knew everything was going to be all fan and dandy when I came back. Now, my half is jagged. I don't have my half. We get into it because he's an idiot, and I put him out. Now, I'm calling. I got to figure out how to get this money so I can pay my rent. And I call Biodad. First time ever calling him and asking him for anything. And I didn't tell him the dynamics of what had happened. I just asked for help. And I didn't ask to give me the money. And at this time, my rent was only $350.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I had a studio apartment. It's $350. And I asked him, can I borrow? Because I'm in school, I get refund checks. It was coming. It didn't come then because I was late.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, let me see. So he was like, call back tomorrow and let me see. I'm like, okay. Okay, he gonna come through. My first time asking him, like, he gonna come through. All while not knowing that my cousin, we grew up, so on his side of the family, we're first cousins. So not knowing that she had told him that the ex was living with me. So because the ex was living with me, he decided he didn't want to help me. Instead of just asking me about what was going on, he chose not to help. Instead, when I called him back that day, he gonna say, now I'm already working 2 part-time jobs and a full-time college student. And he asked me, tell me, Liola's hiring, you can go work there. That's not what I asked you. I asked for a loan. I didn't ask you to give me the money. I asked you for a loan. Because like I said, I knew my refund checks was coming. It was just, I need rent now. So he was like, and that's all I got for you. I was just like, okay. I was devastated because now I'm like, I ain't got nobody to ask for any help because I'm not going to ask my adoptive parents anything because I was too happy to move out and get my own place. So I'm not going back and ask them for anything. Um, that that Monday, I want well, it was a Friday, but somehow that Saturday, the money was in my account. I was so grateful, and I was like, God, from this day on, I never got rent money ever again. Mortgage, rent, all that top priority besides my tithes and offering. But yeah, that was a lesson learned. Taught me big time. And my grandma told me, she was like, you always make sure you have a roof over your head. You
Mhm.
always take care of her. So that was a lesson that I learned. Um, Long story short, instead of him asking me about my situation, he said what he said, but then he went and talked about me to one of his coworkers. Small world. I ended up working for a coworker that summer. That same, like a few weeks later, that was my summer part-time job was to babysit her kids.
Mhm.
And I was just talking to her and, telling her the things that I went through as far as parent. And then she was like, wait, is your father named,
Mhm.
I said, wait, how you know? She said, because it's the same story he told her. He told her that what he looked like, uh, giving me rent money when I got him living with me.
Mm.
That was his exact. And I was just like, never again. So I've never asked him for a penny. And that was over 20 years ago. And he was like, I said, in my eyes, you've never done nothing for me. So it didn't matter if I was a madam of a whole house. If I asked for help, you should have been able to give me help.
Mhm.
That's what I thought a parent should do, especially if you never done nothing. And I'm not a bad kid.
Right.
Like I said, I was working jobs and I was in college. I was in undergrad at that time. So after she told me what he had said, and she knew the whole story, the parts that I didn't even tell her, she knew it all. So I knew she wasn't lying.
Mhm.
Like, how you not offer to help me, but then go talk about me behind my back? I felt like that was a gut punch. So I wrote him a long 4-page letter and I put it in a card for Father's Day and I gave it to him. That was my goodbye.
Mm.
I waited on him as a child, how I thought he was always going to come rescue me. And now I'm no longer waiting and I'm not that kid anymore.
Mm. So
Never.
go ahead.
No, he just never responded to that letter I gave him. He never responded to it.
So with all of that stuff going on, and for you on like the intellectual side, what are the things that you did growing up to stay positive and feed your mind with the good stuff with the way with the cards that life dealt you?
I don't know why I'm wired the way I'm wired. I think I'm weird. Seriously. I got all this love and energy. And I used to give everybody a chance. But life has changed that for me. Um Literally up until 5 years ago, yeah. I gave you tell me a sad story and I'm trying to figure out a way to help you in your story. Like if it's me giving you my last, that's how it was. If you told me, because I've always been financially good after that rent situation, I made sure I kept savings, I kept pocket money here and there, and I've managed my credit card. So people will say, well, can you do this? Can you do that? I was the person until at one point I was like, Banco Tareai is closed.
Mm-hmm.
No more. I literally had to say Banco Tareai is closed. And they was like, oh, that's funny. No, I'm serious. Banco Tareai is closed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it because I'm not getting interest. Y'all not paying. You borrow and you literally give me back what you borrowed 5 months later. No, I gotta hunt you down. No thank. So that aspect, I just was like, no, I had to learn boundaries and I learned them late in life because of all of the betrayal. I learned how people will just be there for you to see what they can get from you.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of people are not genuine, and that goes for men, women, family, friends. You have to know the difference. So when people ask me for help, if I had to ask myself, if you don't pay me this back, will it hurt me? If the answer is yes, this can hurt me if you don't pay me back, then the answer is no, I can't loan it to you.
Mm-hmm.
That way, if you choose not to do what you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do it, I won't lose any sleep. I won't be on the losing end, because I was always on the losing end. So I had to set those boundaries. Then people wanted co-signing. No, I'm not co-signing nothing, because I'm not the person that asks for help. All these people out here always asking me for help, but I rarely go and find somebody, can you help me do this? Can you help me pay this? No, I figure it out myself.
Mm-hmm.
So after many burn at the stake, I finally got it together. And like I said, it took me to hit 40 for me to get it together. So I got burned many times. I got scorch marks all up and down my back.
I've been there. I know what it's like. On the physical side, one of the things that I talk about is like physical is for the way I describe it is it's two things. It's your body and your space. And for your mom, what was when you were younger, what are the things that you noticed, if there was anything there, where like, does she take care of herself? Does she like meditate? Things like that helped her as a single mom, find relaxation, find stress with all the stuff that goes on in life, things like that.
Music, and she passed that on to me.
Mm.
Music. I would hear her at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning playing inspirational music.
Mm.
So and she I hear her saying her prayers, and like I said, I would hear music playing, and now I find myself when I'm like need to zone out, I turn to music. I would get find some kind of inspirational music, or it just long as it's a upbeat, it doesn't have to be spiritual. Just like for example, that Tatiana Taylor song, I Made It. Like, girl, you made it, you graduated and stuff. It was like, yeah, that, because I used to then celebrate myself. So when I got my master's degree, that was the first time I celebrated myself and truly celebrated. Like, I was happy. I was able to post about it. I was just like, I did this.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it. I got my master's degree while working 2 full-time jobs. So yeah, I did that.
That's awesome.
With the help of God, because it was rough. and I was GPA with a 4.0.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that I was like, I needed to be, yeah, exactly. I needed to be proud of myself. I got a 4.0. I got awards. I got scholarship money. And it was like one of the happiest days of my life.
That's awesome.
And I was finally able to celebrate me, what I accomplished in that time of solitude,
Mm-hmm. And what about for you, growing up? Is there anything that you picked up along the way that was like, okay, these are the things on the physical side that I need to do to take care of myself, to make myself better, things like that.
See, my mom was a healthy woman, and my brother was a healthy, like, so being on the big side, it was like, it was a given. When I got older, I didn't want to be big anymore. And that was because I had this stupid notion that if I lose weight, I get a boyfriend. That, so that was the mentality that I had. Like, oh, I gotta lose weight, then I have me a boyfriend finally, I'm gonna have somebody to love on me. And so I was always trying to lose weight for that notion. And once and again, that all this had happened to like, I woke up 5 years ago. I no longer had those notions like I needed to lose weight to feel love or whatnot. Then I started wanting to get back into the gym myself, but at first, no, that was yeah. I just wanted to eat. And because before I got to her, another reason why they allowed me to eat whatever I wanted to, food was never like you couldn't have it is because before I got to her, um, I wasn't allowed to eat. Like so I didn't have food when I was with my bio.
Mhm.
So when I got with her and Dr. Dad, they was like, he was like, if that baby want to eat, she can eat. So I used to have this like 19-year-old man-sized plate of food, and I would eat it all until the plumber came in and he saw my plate, and he made the comment, and they teased me for years about it. And he was like, "I'd rather pay her rent than feed her." And and that's when I noticed that, I had too much food. So I didn't want to eat like that no more.
Well,
Or I wouldn't eat
for
around people.
yeah, for anybody that's watching, like I said in the beginning, Trey was one of my clients when we were doing training. And you put in the work and you put in the effort and you got good results on the way. So I was actually telling PJ here next to me that you were I out of everybody that I trained, there's like a handful of people that were my favorites, and you were one of my favorites because you put in the work, like I said, but I also had a lot of laugh situations with you, lot of laugh sessions. We laughed a lot when you were training. That
Yeah.
was fun.
I'm thinking about that one time like we ain't lose no weight. And I told you I was getting some Butterfinger as soon as we got through work. And that's,
And I was like, why are you eating Butterfingers? Yeah.
yeah.
You did not tell me that you were cheating on the.
I was like, wait, I just went and got some Butterfingers. We was done.
That didn't make my life any easier. But no, it's still fun. We still had a good time. Going to the financial side, your adopted mom had 4, 5 kids before you came into the picture?
She had 2 boys and 2 girls.
2 boys and 2 girls. And then you come into the picture, your stepdad passes away. How did your single mom pull it off financially?
Well, most people probably thought she got a check for me. No, she didn't get a check for me. Because once you adopt, all that stopped anyway. But she worked, and my brothers and sisters. Well, I don't know about the sisters. I do know my brothers. They gave her money for me.
Mm. So they
So
chipped in,
like
helped
I didn't.
out.
Yeah, they chipped in and helped out. I didn't want for anything. No, like she made sure I had new clothes, new shoes. Like so, she just wouldn't buy me Jordan stuff like that. And I remember another offset what it made me do to some of the things I did as an adult was this one particular time these white and red Jordans had came out, and every child in the house, and I'm still a kid, got a pair of Jordan. Even at the time, my baby, she's 30 now, but she was like 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She was the youngest at the time, had a pair of Jordan. They all had either the red and white ones or the white and black ones. They looked like Space Jam shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I begged her so I can get a pair too. And she said no. She was not she told me later she could have bought it, spent $100 to get me, but she said, why spend $100 on a pair of shoes when I can use that money for something else that you would need?
Mm.
I get that now, but at the time I was just pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided I was gonna get me a job. That's when I decided I was gonna get a job. I was gonna get me a job, and I was gonna buy me every pair of gym shoes that came out. Lo and behold, my first real job, Foot Locker.
So they give them to you for free?
No, I had
You get a
no,
discount?
absolutely. I worked. Yep, discounts. And I was kid size at that time, so um, and I promise you, every time I got paid, I bought a pair of gym shoes. I was buying Jordans and Air Max to the point she was like, "You can't buy any more shoes. You don't buy any more shoes." I wasn't trying to hear it was my money,
Mm-hmm.
so I was sneaking shoes in the house, throw them over the gate, and run around to the back and try to get them for somebody else got much.
So it sounds like though your mom was trying to instill like a financial principle in,
Value.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
said you understand now, you didn't understand then.
No, I did
What
not.
was the transformation for you on the financial side, going from like, hey, I got to have these shoes, to like, I can wait, or use that money for, like your mom said,
Something
for
else.
something that you need. Yeah.
I didn't get that aspect until recently. It's just because I got into investing and and making my money grow for me. After I want to say during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
I met an individual, a scammer basically, and I believed in them, so I invested into them. And like I said, they were a scammer. And then I just realized that's what made me realize that instead of always investing in other people, I needed to invest in myself.
Mm.
So that was like one of the first wake up. It took me 3 years to get out of that mindset that I had allowed myself to get in with that individual because the relationship didn't work. It was just like all the trust, all the belief and everything. So I had just depressed. And I was on a good path of working out and losing weight. I was finally under 300 club. Everything was fitting right. And after the truth came out about that individual, I went downhill. I literally just blew all the way back up, cut myself off from the world, stayed in the house, and like just like, okay, I'm not gonna be on social media or anything like that. I'm just gonna like go to school, do what I gotta do, get the job I need, pay off my car, and then work on paying on my house and stuff like that. And those are the goal. Well, write my book.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of that. But then those three, so I was a functioning depression or something. I was function, but I was like crying inside. I was dying inside. So I went to work every day. I'm smiling on the outside. I'm doing everything, literally working 2 full-time jobs, going to school, doing what I need to do on every front, except not take care of me.
Mm.
So, and I wound up like going from 200, I got all the way down to 270 pounds to the largest I got to was 374.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's almost 100-pound gain.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm back on working out, losing weight because I got bad knees. So I can't do all the things I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks. The weight definitely not trying to come off now. So I do aquafit class, walk around tracks and stuff like that. But I can't go hard like I used to when you and I trained. So the weight is coming off, like it's crawling off. It's not even falling off.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally crawling off. And so I went from 374 to now I'm 330. So in the year.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
Most people will sit in that depressed state and not do anything. So I congratulate you, girl. On our last segment here that we talk about in the show is like business. And I've mentioned in the show that over the years I've dabbled in business, but I've never been like just a full on like business owner, that kind of thing. But for single dads, I think it's a good thing to have or to work towards, because like I said in the last show, the interview I did with my friend Heidi, everything that I've gathered over the years says like you're never really going to be wealthy, rich, working a 9 to 5. And
No.
the way out is usually through business or some kind of venture like that.
Mhm.
If you work it right. Was there anything like that your mom was doing when she was single, and was there any kind of like business sense, anything like that going on?
Yeah, she had her own so she worked her home care job, and then she had her own. She was an entrepreneur back in selling her Avon maybe care. So
Hmm.
she did that to keep her, and she had a nice clientele for that. And when I was a freshman in high school, I learned about stocks and invest. And all I needed was $1,000.
Hmm.
So, and no one would give me the $1,000. Cause I had a professor, a teacher, who was into it, and he was teaching us how to do it, how to pick companies and stuff like that. Like he gave us the newspaper and, gave us the gist, and I picked some good companies. And when he told us about it, he was like, yeah, you really did pick, you got the idea, you got the eye.
Hmm.
And so he was like, if you get $1,000, you can open up an account and you can invest into these companies. And I couldn't get $1,000 from nobody and everybody because they are not in that mindset of investing. They're in the mindset of spending.
Hmm.
So they didn't save. And I that's where I differ from them. I save, I invest, I do mutual funds and stuff
Hmm.
like that. I so um but I did do like my little side hustle as far as open up doing my little baking and stuff like that. So I even though I work um for somebody else, I did my own adventures. So
And remind me,
she got me that.
last few years you were doing the hair stuff, right? As a side business, a little
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah, I would braid hair and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I got my hands in a lot of stuff. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I would braid hair. I would bake. Oh, what else did I do to make money?
Hmm.
Do little crafts and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah. But now these last 2 years, I've been heavier on the investment side, just seeing, playing with it, and it's been working for me. So
That's good. That's good.
yeah,
Um, we're coming up at the end of the show here. I super appreciate you coming on board last minute. I called you last minute. I'm like, can you do the show with us today? Because one of the girls that was gonna do the show, like I said earlier, her dad was in the hospital, so she had to cancel. Is there anything uh that, I know your mom's probably, who knows if she'll watch this interview or not, but is there anything that you would say to her, um for raising you and taking you in, things that maybe she's never heard from you over the years? Like, is there any message that you would leave to her, even if she doesn't have to hear it now in this interview? Like, is there anything that you would want to leave her with if you could,
yeah.
as a
I
single
will.
mama?
I would. Yeah, it's him, mom. I know I wasn't always the best child. I had my little devious streaks and stuff like that. I didn't always listen, so I'm not saying I'm a saint. Nowhere near was. But she didn't give up on me. She
Mm.
could have given me back. And that was one of my biggest fears growing up. I didn't want to do something or be what they didn't want me to be. So, and that right there, it created a shift because I kind of didn't know who I was because I was trying to fit the mold that I thought they wanted. But one, you know, I just want to tell her thank you. Like, she never said I had to be XYZ. It was my own notion thinking that I had to be this kind of way or that I was going to be, sent back. Cause you think about it, like if your own parents didn't want you, this person doesn't have to
Right.
keep you. But she chose to raise me. She chose to keep me and to provide for me and to keep me safe while growing up. And so I appreciate her for that. And because of that, maybe that's why I'm going into foster to adopt myself. I'm in the process of doing that.
That I didn't
because
know. You didn't tell me that.
oh, I thought,
See,
yeah,
I'm learning stuff.
well, yeah. So that's the next journey in my life. I'm about to be somebody's mom. That's why you kept saying, I'm like, not yet.
Mm.
Oh,
Well,
but hopefully next month.
I know that that's something that you want. I know we've talked about that,
Yeah.
but I didn't know that you were going
Yep.
into being a foster parent.
Yeah. I'm too old to be trying to squeeze out one. It's going to mess around and be a Benjamin Button. So
Right.
I choose the, it's a lot of kids out here in the world that need a good home. I have a home. I believe I'm a good person. I'm not perfect, but I think myself and the child, if we're willing to work together, we can make magic because I'm willing to listen. I don't want them to think they have to be a certain way. I just want them to be their authentic self, whatever that may be.
Mm.
And if they have a specialty or something, I want to nourish it so they can be their best version of themselves. That's what I'm shooting for. So
That's awesome. That's
hopefully,
awesome.
yeah, hopefully next month I will be somebody's mama.
It's that soon. I was going to ask you, how far along are you in the process?
Yeah. When the holdup was, it would have been sooner, but the holdup came because I'm going out the country for 2 weeks.
Mm.
So wouldn't it be nice to bring somebody in the house only to have to find somewhere for them to go for 2 weeks.
Right,
So
right.
they suggested that we wait till I come back and then we can welcome someone in the house.
So in that process, if you don't, I didn't know we were even going here. This is cool. In that process, then, do you get to pick like the child's age, or are they telling you these are the kids that we have available? Is it like,
I picked the age group. I chose 3 to 13.
okay, so you could get a child anywhere from 3 to 13, boy,
13.
girl, does it matter? Do you get to pick that?
Honestly, the sex really doesn't matter, but I would like a boy because it's just because I know girls like boys and I don't want to go through all the hormonal and the heartbreaks.
Mhm.
Well, boys get heartbroken too, but I just don't want to, I think it's a lot harder raising a girl, because you have to be careful. Well, I'm single, but you still have to be careful who you have around your child. Like, so if it's a girl, because of what I went through, I would be overprotective and I don't want to push them away
Mhm.
or force them to rebel because they think that I'm smuggling them something. And I don't want that. I just want them to be safe.
Right.
So I still, with the boys, you got to worry about, gangs and being, victims in the street. But I think if I keep them active in sports and stuff where they don't have time to be on the street, they would be okay. That's what I'm hoping and praying for.
Right. Wow,
So,
this is a very big twist. I did not know this. You were holding secrets from me, girl.
I honestly thought you knew. I
No,
mean,
I
I've been
didn't
in the
know.
process. Yeah,
I
I've been in the
would
process.
this would have been a completely different conversation if I knew. So I'll have you come back after you are officially a mama and get your take on what it's like being a mom. That's awesome.
How do you be a single mom?
Yeah, exactly. That's so. What are the things other than being the kids being their authentic selves? What are the things that you want to instill into the kids off of like any of these 6 segments that we talked about?
Oh, all of them. I'm not going to force religion on them, but I want them to believe in a higher power.
Mhm.
Believe in how whatever because I don't know what age I'm going to get. So if it's a 3-year-old, then yeah, I can mold that person, that child. But if it's a 7-year-old who's been through something, I have to be patient with that child and pull a lot of onion layers back before they're willing to trust me because they've probably been burnt.
Mhm.
And trust is hard come by, especially with a child when they've been hurt by adults before. They just group you in the category one did it, you all will do it.
Hmm.
So, and if their parents done something to them, why would they expect a stranger to show them anything other? So I'm mentally prepared for that aspect. But I want to teach them value and a dollar. So I want to teach them how to make money, save money, not to be materialistic. Because if I had not been materialistic growing up, I would have a whole lot more money.
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna teach. I definitely want to teach them about liabilities and assets.
Hmm.
I learned that as an adult. So we know assets give, liability take away. So the value in that, I want to teach them that. Definitely gonna teach them about IRAs and stuff like that, how they can make their money grow so they won't be waiting until they're 40 trying to worry about retirement pensions. They're gonna start off in high school. And I'm not gonna pressure them to go to college. I want them to get a high school diploma. And if they want to go to college, we will have the money set up for them to go to college.
Mm.
If they want to trade or, do something else, be an entrepreneur, I'm going to support that. I'm not going to force them to go to college if that's not what they want.
Mm.
Because I went to college, my undergrad as criminal justice, and then wind up becoming a librarian. So,
You went full circle from, your mom
exactly. So
taking you to the library and stuff.
Yeah, so it's not long as they are happy, that's gonna be at the end of the day the most important thing. I want them happy, I want them healthy. And if I happen to get 2 children, I want them to look out for themselves. I don't want them to compete. If anything, double team and work together to get over on me,
Right.
not tear each other down trying to show favor, gain favor. No, there's no favor. You guys are going to be the same.
Mhm.
I just, whatever your support each one of you need will be different, and I just know how to move accordingly. That's all. No one will be above the other one. I want them to know that equally.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I'm excited for you. This is going to be a different adventure, big adventure for you.
yeah, that's why I'm like, I got to get this weight down because I don't know how active they gonna be, and the arthritis set in. They're gonna be like, "Mama, you always in the bed. We don't never go nowhere." So I can't have that.
Yeah, you definitely need the energy especially if they're going to be younger, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
this is good news. I'm happy for you. I didn't know that news. I can't wait to hear how all of that stuff goes. And like I said, I'd love to have you back talking about your experiences going through, because I don't think I know anybody who's an adoptive, I don't know if that's the right word, adoptive mom, adopted mom, adoptive mom. I've got single mom friends, but none of them went that route that I'm aware of. So that's cool. It'd be cool to have that conversation with you in the future. Any last thoughts, Trey, before we get out of here?
No, I just thank you guys for having me. And it's funny because my laptop was about to die on us, so everything is perfect timing.
Well, with that,
It's literally like plug up. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me. And to all the single parents and mom, dad, on us, we appreciate you. We might not tell you that, but we do appreciate the work that you put in for us, the sacrifices. I appreciate my mom's sacrifices. She might not believe it because I act the way I act, but I do. I appreciate her sacrifice.
Well, with that,
And I even thank my bio mom for giving me up, because who knows where I would have been if she had.
Yeah. With that, we'll close out the show. Hang on for like a quick 2 seconds, Trey. For everybody else out there, I want to say thank you to Tareai for coming on the show. Last week's show we had Heidi. Next week I have another single mom coming. I think we're gonna have her in the studio. So that'll be fun. Check out the Single Dad Project on YouTube. We're also on the other channels. Go find us there. The videos will be a lot shorter than what we have here. But thank you, everybody, for being on the show, and we'll see you in the next one.